Hi friends, welcome to the channel The Nurse. Here we are discussing about Anatomy and Physiology GNM first year MCQs. So we will move to the topic. Before that, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Anatomy and Physiology GNM first year MCQ questions. First question: which blood vessels carries oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart? Pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, aorta, superior vena cava. The correct answer is pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. Only vein carries oxygenated blood. Pulmonary vein is the only vein that carries oxygen-rich blood, delivering it from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart. So all other veins carries deoxygenated blood. Only pulmonary vein carries oxygen-rich blood. Second question: which bone forms the anterior portion of the cranium and the roof of the orbits? Anterior portion means this forehead portions. Parietal bones, temporal bone, frontal bone, occipital bone. So correct answer is frontal bone. So this portion is covered by frontal bone. Frontal bone forms forehead, that is anterior part of the cranium, and the superior part of the orbits. The parietal bones, that is from the sides, and temporal bones house the ears, and the occipital bones form the posterior skull, that is backside. Third question: which structure of the eye is responsible for refracting light and focusing it onto the retina? So which part of the eye refracting light and focusing it onto retina? Retina will be on backside. Cornea, lens, iris, optic nerve. So here correct answer is option B, lens. Lens will be helpful in the process of refracting light and focusing it onto the retina. So it will change its size. So it is in a oval shape. Then from the muscles, that is upper and lower side muscles, it will pull. That time this oval curvature will be reduced, and sometimes it will relax. That time the curvature will be high. So that is how the lens is refracting light and focusing it onto backside of the retina. The lens adjusts shape to focus light onto the retina. Same time, cornea refracts lights initially because it is the first part, cornea. The iris controls pupil size. So this is the light bluish or gray color, that is iris part. It will controls the size of the pupil size, that is black circular portion. So it controls the pupil size, and the optic nerve transmits visual signals to brain. So backside of the retina there will be optic nerve. It transmits visual signals to brain. Then fourth question: which chamber of the heart pumps oxygenated blood to the systemic circulation? Right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Systemic circulation means all over the body. So here correct answer is left ventricle. Left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood into systemic circulation. The left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood into the aorta for systemic circulation. Same time there is right ventricle. Right ventricle pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So oxygenated blood pumps by left ventricle. Deoxygenated blood pumps to lungs, that is by right ventricle. Then fifth question: which vertebral region has 12 vertebrae and articulates with the ribs. Cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar vertebrae, sacral vertebrae. The correct answer, that is thoracic vertebrae. Thoracic spine or thoracic vertebrae has 12 vertebrae, that is starting from T1 to T12. Each articulating with a pair of ribs. The cervical spine, that is the first part of the spine, vertebral from brain. The cervical spine has 7 vertebrae, and then comes thoracic vertebrae, 12, then lumbar vertebrae has 5, then sacral vertebrae, finally coccyx. So you can comment it below how many vertebrae are there in human body. So here I mentioned 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, then sacral and coccygeal vertebrae you have to add. Then you will get a total number of vertebrae. Sixth question. Which cranial foramen transmits the optic nerve? That is second cranial nerve. Foramen magnum, optic canal, jugular foramen, foramen ovale. So here correct answer is optic canal. Optic canal that transmits optic nerve into brain. So it will be from the back side. Optic canal that is located backside of the eyeball. The optic canal is in the sphenoid bone, transmits optic nerve, that is cranial nerve, to the foramen magnum. There is another bigger foramen, that is lower side of the skull, that transmits the spinal cord. The jugular foramen transmits cranial nerve 9 to 11, and the foramen ovale that transmits mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve means it is called V3. Actually, it is not a V. It is a Latin number of 5. Mandibular nerve also called third branch of trigeminal nerve. Trigeminal nerve is cranial nerve 5. That is why this 5 symbol is here. 5, 3. So, fifth cranial nerve, third branch, that is mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve has 3 branches. You can comment the other 2 branches also. Then seventh question. Which valve prevents backflow of blood from the aorta into the left ventricle? Tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral valve, aortic valve. The correct answer, aortic valve. So aortic valve will be there in the starting of the aorta. So after pumping oxygenated blood into aorta, the aortic valve prevents backflow, return of the oxygenated blood to left ventricle. So same time there is another valve, that is pulmonary artery is there in right ventricle. So there is pulmonary valve in the starting of the pulmonary artery. So that will prevent backflow of the deoxygenated blood from the pulmonary artery to right ventricle. So here aortic valve prevents oxygenated blood backflow into left ventricle. Pulmonary valve prevents backflow of deoxygenated blood from the pulmonary artery to right ventricle. Then another 2 more valves are there, that is between left atrium and left ventricle, then right atrium and right ventricle. So right side there is a mitral valve that is separated between left atrium and left ventricle, and right side there is a tricuspid valve that is separated between right atrium and right ventricle. So there are total 4 valves, important valves. The aortic valve prevents backflow into the left ventricle during diastole. The tricuspid valve is on the right side. The pulmonary valve guards the pulmonary artery, and the mitral valve separates the left atrium and left ventricle. Eighth question. How many lobes does the right lung have compared to left? Option 2 right side versus 3 left side. 3 left right side versus 2 left side. 2 right side versus 2 left side. 3 right side versus 3 left side. So here correct answer is option B. That is, there are 3 lobes are there in right side. Only 2 lobes are there in left side. Because here left side one space is there. So there the heart occupies. So there is a name for that space that you can comment it below. So heart occupies these empty spaces. That is why left side lung has only 2 lobes. The right lung has 3 lobes, superior, middle and inferior, while the left lung has only 2 lobes, superior and inferior, to accommodate the heart. Then ninth question, which part of a typical vertebrae articulates with adjacent vertebrae to form facet joints? Spinous process, transverse process, vertebral body, articular process. The correct answer is option D, articular process. Articular process helps to joins the adjacent vertebrae form facet joints. The superior and inferior articular process forms facet joints with adjacent vertebrae allowing spinal movements. The spinous and transverse process serves as muscle attachment sites. So while studying the vertebrae, you will understand what are the superior and inferior articular process and spinal process and their purposes. Then 10th question, what is the structural and functional unit of the kidney? Nephron, glomerulus, neuron, tubules. Correct answer is option A, that is nephron. Nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. Neuron is the functional unit of the brain. And alveoli, that is the functional unit of lungs. So these are the basic questions you need to remember. The nephron is responsible for filtering blood and forming urine in the kidneys. Then 11th question, which organ stores bile produced by the liver? Pancreas, gallbladder, stomach, small intestine. Correct answer is option B, gallbladder. So liver will produce the bile, then that will store at nearby structure that is called gallbladder, and for the function of digestion, it will release from gallbladder into small intestine. So that is a process of bile production and secretion. Then gallbladder stores and concentrates bile until it is needed for digestion in the small intestine. 12th question, which chamber of the heart receives deoxygenated blood from the body? Left atrium, right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. So here correct answer is right atrium. So right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from superior and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava carries blood from the upper part of the body. Inferior vena cava carries deoxygenated blood from lower part of the body, and it receives at right atrium. Then from the right atrium it reaches right ventricle. From there the deoxygenated blood pumps into lungs through pulmonary artery. Then explanation, the right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body through superior and inferior vena cava. 13th question, the exchange of gases in the lungs occurs in the bronchi, alveoli, trachea, bronchioles. The correct answer is alveoli. Alveoli is the functional part of the lungs. Alveoli are tiny air sacs in the lungs where oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged with the blood. Then 14th question, which type of joint is found in the shoulder? Hinge joint, pivot joint, ball and socket joint, gliding joint. The correct answer is shoulder joint is an example for ball and socket joint, and there is another a larger type of ball and socket type joint in our body that you can comment below. And also you can find out what are the example for hinge joint, pivot joint, and gliding joint. Then you will understand the joints in a better way. Ball and another important thing is ball and socket joint has maximum uh, movement ability. So other type of joints has some limitation in movements, but ball and socket joints has maximum movement ability. The shoulder is a ball and socket joint allowing a wide range of movement in all direction. Then 15th question, the pacemaker of the heart is known as AV node, SA node, Purkinje fibers, bundle of His. The right answer here, that is option B, SA node, sino-arterial node, that is known as pacemaker of the heart. The sino-arterial node or SA node initiates electrical impulses that regulates heartbeats. Then 16th question, which part of the neuron receives signals from the other neurons? Axon, myelin sheath, dendrites, synapse. The correct answer is option C, that is dendrites. Dendrites receives signals from the other neurons that will carries into nucleus. From there, it transmits into other nucleus. Dendrites are branch-like structures that receives messages from other nerve cells. 17th question. Which organ is primarily responsible for detoxifying chemicals and metabolizing drugs? Kidney, liver, spleen, pancreas. The correct answer is option B, that is liver. Liver has so many functions. In that, one of the function is detoxifying chemicals and metabolizing drugs. So another function we have studied in previous questions, that is the production of bile. Here another function, that is detoxifying chemicals and metabolizing drugs. The liver processes and eliminates toxins and metabolizes drugs from the bloodstream. Then 18th question. The smallest bone in the human body is found in the hand, nose, ear, foot. The correct answer is option C, that is ear. The smallest bone name is stapes. So another question will come, which is the largest bone in our human body? So that you can comment below. Largest bone. Stapes bone in the middle ear is the smallest bone in the human body. Then 19th question. Which enzymes breaks down starch into sugars? Pepsin, lipase, amylase, trypsin. The correct answer here, amylase. Amylase break down starch into sugars. The carbohydrate breakdown that will start from mouth. So amylase, salivary amylase mixes with the food and starts break down the larger starch molecule into simple sugars. There is another kind of amylase, that is pancreatic amylase, that is mixed from small intestine. From there, it against the carbohydrate metabolism from larger sugar molecules into simpler sugars. That is how carbohydrate metabolism taking down. The amylase found in saliva, that is salivary, known as salivary amylase, starts the digestion of starch into simple sugars. Another example of amylase is pancreatic amylase, that is produced by pancreas. Then 20th question, how many pair of ribs does a human have? 10, 11, 12, 13. In the previous question, we have discussed about how many number of thoracic vertebrae. That time I have explained how many pairs of ribs are attached to the thoracic vertebrae. The correct answer is 12 pairs of ribs are there, that is attached to 12 numbers of thoracic vertebrae. Humans have 12 pairs of ribs that protects the thoracic cavity and its organs. So what are the important organs contained inside the thoracic cavity? Yes, you can comment. So 21st question, which blood cells are responsible for fighting infections? RBCs, platelets, WBCs, plasma. For fighting infections, mainly helped by WBCs, that is white blood cells. White blood cells, also known as, another question will come, another name of white blood cells, that is leukocytes. The other name of white blood cells, that is leukocytes, defend the body against infectious diseases and foreign invaders. 22nd question, which part of the eye controls the amount of light entering? Retina, lens, iris, cornea. While explaining the first question, I have explained about the anatomy and important structures that controls the light entering into eyes. So here correct answer is iris. So iris, both from the circular side, there will be iris gray color or light bluish color will be there. So iris controls the amount of light entering into eye. So it will makes the size of the pupil, that is smaller or bigger according to the need. The iris adjusts the size of the pupil to control how much light enters the eye. If the brighter light is there or brighter thing is there, means it shrinks the pupils. If there is a low light, then the pupil size will be wider. So that is controlled by iris. The 23rd question, where does fertilization usually occurs in female reproductive system? Ovary, uterus, fallopian tube, cervix. The correct answer is fallopian tube. The mainly human reproductive system consists the uterus, cervix, fallopian tube, and ovaries. In there, the reproduction, that is combination of ovum and sperms, occurs at fallopian tube. Fertilization typically occurs in the fallopian tubes where the sperms meets the egg or ovum. 24th question. The main function of the hemoglobin is to fight infection, carry oxygen, form clots, regulates body temperature. Here correct answer is carry oxygen. Fight infection we already discussed, that is done by WBC or white blood cells or leukocytes. Forming clots or the bleeding prevented by platelets. Regulate body temperature, that is usually done by hypothalamus. Hemoglobin in the RBCs, RBC means red blood cells, binds to oxygen and transports it from the lungs to tissues. Then 25th question, which hormone regulates the sleep-wake cycles? Insulin, estrogen, melatonin, adrenaline. The correct answer is melatonin. If there are any problem in production of melatonin, that will impacts in the sleep. So sometimes the person will not get adequate sleep at night, or he will not understand which is night or which is day. So that is usually seen in bedridden patients, or patients, those who are patient admitted in ICUs, that is closed rooms. The melatonin is produced by pineal gland. So here another question will come: which gland is produced melatonin? The answer is pineal gland, and helps circadian rhythms including sleep-wake cycles. So circadian rhythm means that is mainly sleep-wake cycles, and helps the person for understanding day and night. So based on that, our body function will be regulated. 26th question: what is the primary function of large intestine? Absorb nutrients, absorb water, digest protein, store bile. Correct answer is absorb water. The main absorption of water is taken place at large intestine. That is the main function of large intestine. Other nutrient absorption is mainly taken uh, from small intestine. Digestive proteins and all that is taken place at small intestine. Bile storing is the function of gallbladder. The large intestine absorbs water and electrolytes and forms solid waste, that is feces. If there are any problems or any infections into large intestine, that will leads to the function of large intestine, that will leads to watery diarrhea. Then 27th question: which part of the skin contains blood vessels and nerve endings? Epidermis, dermis, subcutaneous layer, stratum corneum. The correct answer is option B, that is dermis. Dermis contains blood vessels and nerve endings. Blood vessels in the sense capillaries. The dermis lies beneath the epidermis and contains blood vessels, hair follicles, and nerve endings. Then 28th question: which type of muscle is found only in the heart? Skeletal, smooth, cardiac, voluntary muscles. Correct answer is cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles only seen in heart only. Nowhere else we can find cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscle is an involuntary type. Involuntary type means we cannot control it by our own wish. It works by its own signals. That is why it is known as involuntary muscles. Cardiac muscle is involuntary, striated, and found only in the walls of heart. That is myometrium. Myometrium is made up with cardiac muscles. Sorry, myometrium. It's not a myometrium. Myometrium is seen in uterus. Myocardium. That is the middle layer of the heart. So that is about today's video. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any doubt means you can ask in comment section. So these are the basic questions only, anatomy based basic questions only. So if you need more questions means you can comment it below. I will make a new set of questions from anatomy and physiology. Thank you.